I loved the look at these artistic interventions in urban spaces and, waking up people to their social conventions and the way to typically use a space to see new ways of being embodied in these environments and of sharing and of seeing one another. So I loved being able to be immersed in that boundary between art and life through those in their field, through their terminology, their ideologies, missions, and interpretations, so that we really got how they speak of it and what their ultimate aim is, and then getting to simultaneously watch some of these projects come to life in front of us, which I thought was pretty brilliant. And getting to see them foster relationships with the public. I thought it was really important that we got the history of it as well, so we had that context and brought us up to par with some of these individuals, and finding the philosophies undercovered through through these. And it made me think of how I could apply this to my own city, and where are these public spaces and how are they used, and how could we connect more? How could we find that empathy for one another and develop that dialogue?
This was really beautiful. I mean, the cinematography alone was gorgeous, and it kind of makes your breath catch because it's so beautiful. But what the filmmakers did with this was also beautiful. The dances, the performances, I loved the visuals in the skate park. I thought it was great. And having these performances in these urban areas, I feel like it breathes a kind of new life into an area where it forces you to think about that specific thing differently. It changes your perspective on it. And it reminded me a little bit of Shakespeare, where he said, all the world's a stage, that it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's a museum, whether it's this beautiful historical monument, relics, where you can make that a performance stage. So yeah, I loved the music that they chose in this. I thought that this was absolutely gorgeous.
It creates this powerful message about hope, and by doing the things that we love, wonders will be created. And with the form of dance, this was so wonderful to witness how various people come together in unity to express themselves through the art form of dance and music, and have several people stand by and witness the masterpiece that our bodies can really create. So really well done on doing that. And I just love the style in the filmmaking, as well as the performances that were chosen, the music, the soundtrack, everything just felt quite unique, and everything just came together quite nicely.
It takes a sort of a special artist or a special performer to be able to take what they do and go out in the street. It's kind of a rough atmosphere sometimes, and it really takes more of a vulnerability. You're not really on a stage somewhere where people are paying to come see. So it's definitely more raw and real, but also more vulnerable for the performer, as far as, are people going to like it? Are they going to watch? Are they going to harass me or not? You kind of have different elements to deal with in that type of business. So I really have a lot of respect for that. The costumes were really nice, and the dancing was nice, and the movements. It's neat that they kind of take and sort of mold it to whatever that area is and what's going on in that little section that they're dancing in, and kind of take their dance and incorporate the movements and the props and things into what's going on in that area, and kind of make it flow and relate to the people in that area too. I think it's really cool. So yeah, really well done. I mean, technically, I liked the layout of this film, and, seeing a bunch of different snapshots of the performances, and just getting an idea from the people speaking on what this is about and what they do and how they go about it. So it was really cool to see.
I enjoyed the look of how street performers come to work. It's something, they're on the street, we see them, we're enthralled by them, we watch what they're doing. Sometimes they scare the Jesus out of you, but it really shows how they work. And this documentary really put it into perspective, because you're talking not only to the guy who runs the street performers in his city, but the different ways they move and the way they orchestrate it and the weird props they use to get more stiff and work out onto the streets and how they integrate together. It was really, really interesting to see because it's really a fascinating profession because it takes dance to the next level. It was really an amusing documentary because it's something that we're all curious about, because these are people who grab your attention on the streets and in the museums and other places around the cities. And they're ones that always are working with us, and we see them, and we know it because they almost are as still as statues, and you don't really ever think of it as a dance form, but this documentary showed it really is. And they are integral to how we view entertainment sometimes, and they sometimes make things more interactive in a city or in a museum where you're going about your daily life. It was a very interesting documentary to put the stories behind these amazing people.
What set this film apart for me were the excellent interviews of the various art experts with articulate opinions on the role of art in the public square. I really enjoyed the various dance presentations by a number of talented dancers, so many different settings, wardrobe pieces, and choreography. But they were all joined by a brilliant idea in mind to sometimes spontaneously bring art to spectators in their everyday worlds.